Tonight, a boost to hospital security.
Violence has absolutely no place in healthcare.
The province announces an expansion of security measures, but is it enough to calm concerns from the nurses' union? Also tonight, closing up shop.
Really hit and miss on sales and everything, with people's sort of budgets are constrained and all over the board.
Why the closure of a Winnipeg diner speaks to larger issues affecting the restaurant industry. Plus, a new vision for Point Douglas.
This is about the longer-term future.
What the future may hold for the neighborhood in central Winnipeg.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A provincial plan to beef up safety and security in hospitals is getting mixed reaction tonight. To explain, CTV's Danton Unger joins us live. So, Danton, what is the province doing?
Well, Marilee, it's expanding on some of its previously announced safety initiatives, including more safety officers and a safety app. Well, the health minister says this is all part of a wider plan to boost security. Some say the government has been forced into action. More institutional safety officers are on the way to Manitoba hospitals.
These folks are, again, highly trained, highly skilled.
Health Minister Uzoma Azagwara announced 5 new ISOs will be added to the Thompson General Hospital next month, bumping the total complement in the province to 128.
If we have to go further, we will.
The province is also expanding the use of its mobile Safe app, featuring real-time safety alerts, a panic button, and a direct line to security. It's currently available at HSC, St. Boniface Hospital, and the Brandon Regional Health Centre.
Plans are underway to add the Victoria Hospital and Thompson General Hospital in the next few weeks.
This all part of an overall effort to address safety concerns in hospitals.
It feels very reactionary.
Manitoba Nurses Union President Darlene Jackson says the timing of the province's announcement stood out to her.
It's not a coincidence that this announcement happened on the eve of the grey listing vote for St. Boniface Hospital.
Nurses are set to decide if St. Boniface Hospital will be grey listed to discourage nurses from working there due to safety concerns. The union has already grey listed HSC and Thompson General Hospital.
I think it's very telling that something has to happen. A very significant event has to happen in order to get a reaction from government.
Meanwhile, the Manitoba Association of Healthcare Professionals says the province has been forced into action, saying in a statement, frontline professionals continue to experience assaults and injuries that can be prevented. The fact that some limited actions and investments are now taking place is not cause for congratulation or celebration when employers are still not following legislated safety requirements. Azagwara says the province will continue working to make hospitals safer.
Violence has absolutely no place in healthcare. None whatsoever.
Azagwara says part of that work includes the installation of amnesty lockers at select facilities, including Thompson and Swan River.
All right, thanks for this, Danton. The mother of an accused mass killer testified he sent her cryptic messages in the days following the shooting that killed 5 people at a Winnipeg rooming house. Mary Felix says her son, Jamie Felix, said in Facebook messages that, quote, he wasn't going to be around for long and was, quote, going out to the fullest. He's pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder for the 2023 killings. Mary Felix also told the jury her son struggled with drug and alcohol addiction after his twin brother was killed. A Crown prosecutor said in an opening statement the accused was using crack and drinking alcohol in the days before the shooting. The trial began Tuesday and is scheduled to run for 4 weeks. Phil Schiegel says he's social enemy number 1. The former city CAO finished his testimony Thursday at the police headquarters inquiry. Schiegel said he's offended. A civil court judge ruled he took a bribe from the project's general contractor, and the attention this case has garnered has been unfair towards his family. Schiegel wasn't the only key player to offer evidence today, though. CTV's Jeff Keel is standing by live with those details. So, Jeff, who else took the stand?
Caspian owner Armak Babakanians. He was asked if he thought Schiegel was asking for money in 2011. Phil Schiegel says because of bribe allegations over the police headquarters project and the publicity that has followed, he feels he's being pushed out of Winnipeg.
I'm social enemy number 1. At least that's how I feel.
The former city CAO concluded his testimony at the inquiry into the purchase and renovation of the Canada Post building, which ballooned in price. Near the end, he said this has caused anguish in his business life. Banks have shut him out, including one he was with for 25 years. And Shiegel says this has been tough on his family, which is unfair to them.
It's been really hard over the last 16 years to have a last name Shiegel.
A civil court judge concluded in 2022 Shiegel took a $327,000 bribe from Caspian, the project's general contractor. Cates and Shiegel have said the money was for a real estate deal in Arizona. Shiegel says it's disheartening, deflating, and crushing to be accused of the acts, which he again denied.
I take great offense to the accusations that were made and that were ruled by the courts.
Next up was Caspian owner Armak Babakanians, who was asked about a February 2011 meeting at City Hall. After the meeting, he wrote an email to himself saying, "I think he wanted 2 + 2 for Sam and Phil." Babakanians was asked if he thought Shiegel was asking for money for Shiegel and Cates.
I thought I heard 2 and 2, okay?
And 2 and 2 what?
Well, that's exactly. So I never expanded on it. I never said anything, and I just left it that way.
And Babakanians also denied asking for or receiving any payments.
Did you ever pay Mr. Shiegel or Mr. Cates any money for helping you get this project?
No, ma'am.
And just a reminder, this is not a criminal or civil court matter. The inquiry is for information only.
Jeff, does Babakanians back up Shiegel and Cates' testimony that there was, in fact, a land deal?
Yes, it appears that way. He was asked today about a $200,000 check that he gave to Shiegel, one of his companies, through his companies, and also a year later, a $127,000 check that he gave to Cates through one of his companies.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. We're getting a look tonight at a new development plan for Point Douglas. The proposed plan will guide future development in North Point Douglas and a large area of South Point Douglas. It looks to transition away from industrial land uses and increase infill in existing residential areas. It includes a mix of high-rise and mid-rise buildings between 2 and 6 stories tall with commercial space on the ground floor. Single-family homes would not be allowed in high-rise areas.
Developers maybe they'll be willing to buy up. There's a lot of vacant, derelict houses and stuff right near Sutherland in Point Douglas on the north side. And so that might cause the private sector to move in and, hey, we can build and do that. And so that'll be housing renewal.
The Lord Selkirk West Kildonan Community Committee is set to hold hearings on the plan Tuesday. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. What are you tracking for us tonight, Colleen?
Just sort of the very tail end of this low pressure system that continued to bring snow to southern Manitoba today. And yes, some in Winnipeg, but much more in the southwest. I'm going to show you how much more. And I'm also going to show you someone who really enjoyed the snowfall that fell. I think you'll like to see that. That'll be coming up. It's going to get colder too. I don't think you'll like to see that too much. Don't worry, temperature's not plummeting, but just a little colder than we've been coming accustomed to as of late, but all that to come. The CTV Live Eye, though, first is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, there's some light snow falling downtown. It's -7 degrees with winds coming from the north-northeast at 21 kilometers an hour. The wind chill feels more like -14. The pressure is rising, and the humidity right now merrily is 86%.
Thanks, Colleen. A highway that cuts through Carman was closed to traffic last night following a crash involving a train and a semi. The Carman Dufferin Fire Department shared this photo on Facebook. Crews were called to the scene on Highway 13 around 6 o'clock. Fire Chief Chris Lemke says a semi traveling southbound attempted to brake because of an oncoming train, but wasn't able to stop in time because of the road conditions. No one was hurt in the crash, and the train did not derail. Highway 13 reopened to traffic shortly before 8:30. Mounties say the driver was ticketed under the Highway Traffic Act for proceeding across a rail crossing when unsafe to do so. A longtime South Osborne eatery will dish its final meals in a few weeks. Oakwood Cafe first opened more than 30 years ago, but rising food prices have hurt the restaurant's bottom line. Tonight, CTV's Joseph Bernacki speaks to a server who's been there almost since the start.
During the Thursday lunch rush, waitress Kendra Menard stops to take a moment to thank her regulars in between plates of food. It's a job she's known for nearly a quarter of a century.
It's been great. It's my whole life.
On March 8th, Menard will serve her last table at the Oakwood Cafe. The South Osborne institution has welcomed hungry diners for more than 3 decades. She joined the restaurant in 2002. In the years since, she's watched first dates turn into weddings and babies grow into young adults.
It's the people. The people are what makes it special, hands down.
But that will soon change. Owner Wendy May took over the Oakwood in 2016. May says she thought she would have to close the neighborhood joint as early as a year ago, citing rising food costs. She says by cutting back on spending, the best they were doing on a good day was breaking even.
When things change, that puts even more pressure on your bottom line. It's not even about making a profit. A lot of times it's about breaking even and not losing money.
We're not going to make any money because the overhead and the cost is all going up, and we can't possibly charge $25 for a sandwich. That's crazy.
Prep cook Rob Armstrong says he doesn't fault May for cutting her losses. They're not the only restaurant feeling the pinch. At Silver Heights Restaurant, owner Tony Sawicki says the ribs he buys for his customers have risen to $30 a pound, up from $17 a pound 6 years ago. He says it's a balancing act.
Every time the prices go up, we have to sit there and say, how much can we push on to the customer before we scare those customers away?
The Manitoba Restaurant and Food Services Association says nationwide, one university survey found 7,000 independent restaurants closed last year, and another 4,000 could close in 2026. Back at the Oakwood, Wendy May says running the cafe has been an amazing ride.
I hope someone comes and gives it the TLC that the Oakwood's been able to do, and same thing can be a little nugget in this community, which is fantastic.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The federal government is taking another step towards a potential expansion of the Port of Churchill. Ottawa, along with the Manitoba government and other partners, is launching a marketing-sounding study on how road, rail, and port improvements might attract more business from exporters. It will likely consult senior executives in mining, energy, grain, and other sectors to gauge interest in using the facilities with improved infrastructure.
We want to see a base commodity that can power this infrastructure for the next generation. That might be LNG. It might be another product, but I am talking about LNG because I want Manitobans to start thinking about that.
An expanded port could include an energy corridor and an all-weather road to Churchill. The new study is due to wrap up next month. A new partnership plans to grow and add new jobs at Ballet nickel mine in Thompson.
There is currently 20 years in the life of mine plan that we can mine profitably. We believe we can mine profitably, and that's going to be our goal. And the way we're going to do that, the way we're going to lower unit costs, is to ramp up production.
Ballet-based Metal signed a deal to partner with 3 companies as part of a new alliance that will invest up to $280 million in the mining complex. Under the agreement, Xero Minerals, Orion Resource Partners, and Canada Growth Fund will join Ballet to acquire and invest in the mine. The mine has seen job losses in the past, but Xero's CEO says the aim is now growth.
Our plan is in the next 5 years to double the current production. And in order to do that, we're going to need the team, and we're going to need to add to the team. So it's actually the opposite concern is, are we going to get enough people here?
The Thompson complex includes 2 underground operating mines and adjacent mill, as well as significant exploration opportunities. The new company will be known as Xero Nickel Co. Another rural municipality is now in the process of opting out of the capital planning region. The RM of Taché, located directly southeast of Winnipeg, is just the latest to begin withdrawing from the corporation. That's according to a spokesperson for the Winnipeg Metro region. The RM's mayor says there are a number of reasons behind the decision, which was reached unanimously by council.
Yeah, there were quite a few general examples. There was some reaction from the public about the municipality losing autonomy by being part of the WMR, which I don't agree with, but also it was with governance issues mostly, the way that the WMR, or now known as the CPR, is conducting its affairs.
The mayor added he's confident in time the RM will be able to find common ground and begin establishing a plan that suits its needs. The capital planning region consists of 18 municipalities. 4 have now begun the opt-out process, including the RM of Taché, while 4 others have formally left. It was established in 2023 and aims to bring together the city of Winnipeg and surrounding municipalities with a mandate to promote sustainable economic and social development. It also has a mandate to adopt a regional plan by January 1st of 2027. Coming up, one of the most explosive developments as fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein case continues.
It truly is a seismic moment for this country.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. We'll have more on the situation facing the former royal when we return. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil added $1.35. The loonie dropped to 73.01 cents U.S. Gold futures lost $12. The TSX gained 205 points. The Dow Jones fell 267 points, while the Nasdaq also slid a bit lower. A blockbuster moment in British and royal history. The King's brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, was arrested by police today on his 66th birthday and later released. He's under investigation for misconduct related to allegations that as a special British trade envoy, he shared sensitive information with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. CTV's Abigail Beeman explains.
Police stand outside Sandringham Estate, home to former Prince Andrew, later seen leaving a police station in this vehicle. The arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office comes after police said they were looking into allegations Mountbatten Windsor had passed on documents to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while he was working as a trade envoy.
It truly is a seismic moment for this country, and I think for the monarchy as well.
So what's your reaction to your brother's arrest?
King Charles wasn't answering questions Thursday about his little brother, but released a statement saying he learned the news with the deepest concern and the law must take its course. Mountbatten Windsor spent a decade as trade envoy. He made about a dozen visits to Canada in that period. Emails released in the Epstein files suggest he shared UK government reports in 2010. Mountbatten Windsor has always denied wrongdoing.
Whether those details that were passed on by Andrew to Epstein were all part of his job and part of his responsibilities, well, that's an open question. However, the official guidance for trade envoys was that they have a duty of confidentiality.
The family of Virginia Giuffre says the arrest is a win for Epstein victims. She died by suicide in May and in 2022 settled a lawsuit accusing the former prince of sexually abusing her as a teenager.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling.
Police released a short statement after the former prince was seen leaving the police station, saying he was released under investigation with some police searches of royal property still underway. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Representatives of 40 countries attended the U.S. president's first meeting of his Board of Peace in Washington. Though it's notable key allies like Canada, the U.K., France, and Germany weren't there or opted out. Well, the focus was on rebuilding Gaza. All eyes are on a massive military buildup headed to Iran. CTV's Joy Melvin has more from Washington.
The president calls this his crowning achievement in the newly named Donald J. Trump U.S. Institute of Peace, convening his first Board of Peace. With representatives from 40 nations, $7 billion was pledged towards rebuilding war-torn Gaza, just a fraction of what's needed.
Rafah fully rebuilt.
Showing a video of what Gaza could become, Hamas still has not disarmed, and Israel continues to strike during this fragile ceasefire.
Peace. It's called the Board of Peace, and it's all about an easy word to say, but a hard word to produce: peace.
But the president's talk of peace being overshadowed as the U.S. readies for possible war with Iran. Flight tracking shows a massive U.S. war machine is taking shape in the Middle East. Hundreds of jet fighters and warships sent to the region. The president, who promised no more foreign wars, prepared to strike, he says, unless Iran ends its nuclear ambitions.
Now is the time for Iran to join us. They cannot continue to threaten the stability of the entire region, and they must make a deal. Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen.
After Trump claimed in June that Operation Hammer obliterated Iran's nuclear abilities, Trump has hinted at regime change. And after Iran's deadly crackdown on protesters, the president promised help was on the way. Showing military drills on state TV, Iran warns that any U.S. attack would trigger retaliation like never before. The president says he's giving negotiations in Geneva a chance, but set a timeline, giving Tehran the next 10 to 15 days to make a deal. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has been sentenced to life in prison. Yoon was convicted of rebellion for trying to impose martial law in that country in 2024. The attempt was thwarted after opposition lawmakers broke through a military barricade and voted to lift the measure. Yoon was impeached and had been under house arrest since last July. The federal government has announced new measures aimed at cracking down on extortion across the country. The focus is on improving the collection and sharing of financial intelligence, allowing law enforcement to act more quickly. The announcement was made in Mississauga this morning. It comes as businesses and politicians ask the government to do something to curb what they describe as an unprecedented wave of extortion crime. It's when criminals target businesses and homes if demands for money aren't met. The new initiatives announced today, dubbed FinTrack, will prioritize and mobilize resources to follow the money, working with banks and credit unions, as well as law enforcement to share data and flag suspicious transactions.
That's why one of the most powerful tools we have is financial intelligence. Because when we follow the money, we expose the networks behind these crimes, we identify those which are responsible, and we disrupt their ability to operate, whether it's here in the Peel region, in Canada, and even internationally.
Since 2019, the federal government has spent close to $379 million in combating financial crimes. The final debate will be held tonight between the 5 candidates hoping to become the next leader of the federal NDP. The candidates are filmmaker Avi Lewis, Alberta MP Heather McPherson, dock worker Rob Ashton, social worker Tennille Johnson, and organic farmer Tony McQuail. The debate is being held tonight in British Columbia. Voting for the NDP's next leader begins March 9th, with the winner announced 3 weeks later. Well, as Toronto and Vancouver prepare to host World Cup games, Airbnb says searches for places to stay have jumped 80% compared to last year. The company is offering a cash incentive of $750 to boost the number of listings. It comes amid warnings from travel industry experts that accommodations will be scarce and costs will be high in both cities.
These women are great athletes. They train hard, they prepare hard, they love the game.
A battle on the ice, how Canada's women's hockey team fared in the gold medal game against the States.
The long-range forecast will be a little colder than we've become used to lately. -12 will be the highest temperature forecast for Saturday. Mostly cloudy, a little colder but brighter Sunday, a high of just -16 degrees, and then we drop off to -24 Sunday night. Into Monday, clouding over, some moderation, -13 up to -10 Tuesday with the possibility of flurries, brightening up again Wednesday with a high of -12.
Once a bomber, always a bomber. A fan favorite has signed a one-day contract with the club so he can retire in blue and gold.
The run to his right again, down the field, laying out for it, touchdown! Going and getting it, 5th of the season for Drew Wolotarski.
Receiver Drew Wolotarski is calling it quits after 8 CFL seasons. He spent 7 years in Winnipeg before joining the Ticats in 2025. The California native pulled in 18 touchdowns and nearly 3,000 receiving yards as a Blue Bomber. And he was a key piece on the 2019 and 2021 Grey Cup winning squads.
I really wanted to retire as a Bomber. That's just where I feel like my heart was, man. And
that's where I put all my heart and soul into. Community-wise, you know, had so many friends out there, the music scene, it just made sense, man, and I wanted to go out as a Bomber.
The club says Wolotarski will be best remembered as a popular figure in the locker room and community. It's a rivalry that's dominated women's hockey, and the game did not disappoint, even though Canada didn't win gold. It was a hard-fought match that went all the way to sudden death overtime. CTV's Scott Hurst takes us through the women's hockey gold medal game.
Team USA is the Olympic champion in women's hockey. It is a devastating loss for the Canadian women, who are looking to end a 7-game losing streak to their rivals. Canada will still leave Milano Cortina with a silver medal. The win for the Americans puts them back on top of the podium after losing the gold medal match to Canada at the Beijing Games 4 years ago.
It's so enormous, the Olympic Games, right? Every shift, every period.
Heading into the game, fans on both sides were ready to witness another chapter in this bitter rivalry. And it was Canada who allowed their fans to believe first. No goals in the opening frame, but very early in the second period, the red and white opened the scoring, while Team USA was on the power play. 27-year-old Kristen O'Neill from Oakville, Ontario, put Canada in the lead with the shorthanded goal. Only the second goal Team USA had allowed all tournament. But late in the third, with just over 2 minutes to go, the USA finally broke through. America's captain Hillary Knight with the equalizer, and it would stay tied through the end of regulation. In overtime, it was Megan Keller for the Americans with the golden goal. Despite the loss for Canada, this rivalry continues to push the women's game to new heights.
These women are great athletes. They train hard, they prepare hard, they love the game, they have a passion for it.
With Canada's latest silver, it boosts our overall medal count to 15 with more podium opportunities on Friday. However, much of the attention will be back on hockey, a semi-final versus Finland. The Canadian men will get the chance to punch their ticket to the gold medal game. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. And I know we both talked a lot about snow over the past couple days. And while we didn't see a lot here in Winnipeg, other places did. You've got the numbers to prove it.
Absolutely. Now consider this a snapshot. Now the bulk of the snow with this system did come down yesterday and last night. So these are numbers from early this morning. Look at this, the Parkland region and the Manitoba Escarpment, 20 to 30 centimeters. Boissevain, wow, 25 centimeters there. Morden Dauphin, 18, 15. Now Brandon got 8 centimeters. Now I want to point this out because I was talking about this last night. Winnipeg, yeah, we only got about 2-3 centimeters, but just go down the highway a little bit to Portage La Prairie, 15 centimeters fell there. So I'll tell you what, I want to show you who enjoyed the snow right here in Winnipeg. Take a look at this. This is Oscar. Now he's an 11-year-old Goldie, but Jerry says when that fresh snow falls and he rolls around, he's like a puppy. It's so cute. I could watch that all day. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so some of us enjoyed the snow. Some of us maybe not so much, where you got an awful lot. Boissevain, 25 centimeters there. There has been more throughout the day across the south, and yes, including here in Winnipeg, and more to come for some parts of the province tonight. So these totals will go up a little bit, but you get the gist. Primarily, this system impacted areas in the southwest, a little less so, 10 times less so here in Winnipeg than in the higher terrain of the Parkland region and the Manitoba Escarpment. But snow on the radar right now for Winnipeg and the Red River Valley up into the southern Interlake. So we'll see a little bit of intermittent snow tapering to flurries in the next few hours into tomorrow. Northwestern Ontario also seeing a little bit of light snow heading into your Thursday evening. Up in the north, more snow for some areas too. So really, this is affecting much of the province with a little bit of snow here and there, but again, the bulk of it in the southwest, as you well know if you're out there. As we go throughout the overnight hours, we could see the light snow taper off to flurries here in Winnipeg. And again, it's really intermittent. Same thing for the rest of the southeast into northwestern Ontario. A little bit of light snow crossing parts of the north tonight. Into a Friday afternoon already. We may well see some flurries primarily in the morning here in the south. Maybe a little bit of light snow around Brandon in the morning, but this should wrap up by the time we get into the afternoon. If not, it'll be early evening for the Winnipeg area. but look at all this snow that continues to fall up in the north. But this is interesting. This band of snow that comes out of northeastern Manitoba, down through northern and northwestern Ontario, and then right in to Lake Superior. So we'll be watching out for that. There'll be more snow for northern Manitoba and parts of northern Ontario Saturday night into Sunday. But for tonight, a little bit of on again, off again light snow falling here in the city. We drop down to minus 11 degrees. Winds out of the north at 20 kilometers an hour. Flurries are possible for the commute. The temperature might drop off a bit in the morning around minus 12, and then the temperature will jump around between minus 12 and minus 10 throughout the day. Minus 10 should be the highest temperature mid-afternoon or so, with the possibility of flurries still there, but a little less so by that point. Up into the northeast tonight, Churchill, your temperature will rise to minus 20. That's why the asterisk is there. Cloudy, partly cloudy for Gillam and Island Lake. Some light snow for Thompson down to minus 23. Cloudy there tomorrow, a high of minus 14. In the northwest tonight, it looks like the snow is wrapped up already for Flin Flon and the Pot. Will be cloudy there the rest of the night, down to minus 23. Tomorrow, cloudy for Lynn Lake, minus 16. Some flurries likely for Norway House, up around minus 13 degrees tomorrow afternoon. In the southwest tonight, a little bit more light snow to go. Most areas down to minus 17, minus 19, including Brandon. Neepawa again, there is the good chance you'll see some light snow in the morning, but it should taper off in the afternoon. Winnipeg in the southeast, a little bit of light snow falling now. Overnight lows minus 11, minus 12, and then temperatures holding fairly steady tomorrow with the possibility of flurries. A little milder down into Sprague at minus 6, and in northwestern Ontario, ditto. Light snow tonight. Overnight lows between minus 8 and minus 11, and then daytime highs between minus 4 and minus 7, with a little bit more of that light snow coming down. Speaking of which, a beautiful look out at Scotch Bay. Now, Daniel said this was his old barn out there. That's just west of Ericsdale. And this next photo is from Jeanette. Now, I thought this was pretty cute. Now, she said all the snow made the bird feeder much more accessible for their resident squirrel. This is out in Winkler. Send us your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. With Canada's current trade mission to Mexico wrapping up, attention turns now to a review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. And there are concerns it could be in jeopardy. CTV's Mike LeCouture has more from Ottawa.
It's about time that we are less reliant and more resilient.
Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne believes Canadians understand the reality of the situation. While President Donald Trump continues to say he could walk away from CUSMA, the New York Times is reporting 2 Canadian officials involved in trade discussions say expectations for a full renewal of the deal are very low. Still, the minister isn't ready to give up hope yet.
So we'll continue to make the point and keep telling them that we're ready at the table whenever the parties want to review CUSMA.
Now, it comes as the minister overseeing trade with the U.S. just wrapped up a trade mission to Mexico.
There's no division as between the interest of Mexico and Canada in committing ourselves to the trilateral trade agreement.
This trade expert believes threats from the White House are part of the negotiation, but Canada needs to continue making a case for CUSMA.
To members of Congress, to state governments, to U.S. business, to underscore how important this agreement is to the United States.
Now, there is a sense of urgency to end the trade war with the U.S. According to Statistics Canada, this country's trade deficit grew to $31.3 billion last year, the largest since the COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, exports are down slightly, but the Canadian economy is slowly shifting away from the U.S., with 5.8% fewer exports going south. And exports to countries excluding the U.S. rose by 17.2% in 2025.
We have what the world wants, whether it's gone from critical mineral, from energy, from natural resources.
The finance minister adds while Canada wants to work with the U.S., there are other trading opportunities out there. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A spike in pneumonia hospitalizations nationwide. Which age groups are most affected and what may have prompted the surge? Next in Medical Watch. We're getting a rare snapshot tonight into the feeding behavior of dinosaurs thanks to the oldest known dinosaur vomit ever discovered. It's believed to be about 290 years old, and a Brandon University paleontologist helped identify it. Mark McDougall joins us now to talk more about that discovery and what we can learn from it. Mark, good to speak with you.
Good to speak with you as well.
All right, before we get into what you discovered in this prehistoric barf, tell us a bit about where it was found and what kind of dinosaur you think it came from.
Oh, so just to clarify, this is not dinosaur vomit. So this is actually an older animal. So this is an older vertebrate, an animal with a backbone from before the dinosaurs. So it's actually much older than dinosaurs. And it comes from an animal that we're interpreting as would have been the apex predator of its ecosystem. This is an animal, one of the potential candidates is an early vertebrate that we call Dimetrodon. He had a big sail on his back. Some people may be familiar with that. It's often mistaken for a dinosaur, but it is much older. So we're interpreting that this fossilized vomit likely belonged to one of these larger apex predators that would have been located at this ecosystem.
You can tell I didn't get very far in biology class, Mark. I'm sorry.
It's a common mistake. Don't worry.
Let's get to the barf itself.
Yep.
What was it, and do we know what made the predator sick?
So it's the barf itself has several different smaller animals inside of it, a little reptile, as well as some other animals that we were able to identify based on how similar they are to other animals that were present at this site. It's likely that this was just thrown up because it mostly consists of bones, and bones don't digest very easily. So it probably wouldn't have sat very well in the stomach of this larger predator, and then it would have just thrown those bones up because it wasn't able to digest them.
So just too big of a meal?
Not too big. It's just that they can't really digest that. It's like if you were eating chicken bones or something, that wouldn't sit well in your stomach either. So it's the same kind of idea.
All right. Tell us a bit about the work you did in piecing this story all together and the history of it.
Yeah, so I was involved in an international team with researchers from Germany and France, and my main role was identifying the actual bones that were found inside this fossilized vomit. So identifying what potential animals they could have belonged to, as I'm very familiar with a lot of the fossils that are at this site in central Germany. I've been working with colleagues on this site for many years. So I was going through this and trying to identify at least as much as possible, what each of these bones may have belonged to, so we could figure out what this larger animal would have been eating.
You've described this discovery as a bit of a prehistoric time capsule. How exciting is this from a scientific perspective? What does this discovery tell us that we didn't know?
It's actually very exciting because usually with fossils, when you're trying to find out what these things were eating, it's usually a lot of guesswork just based on what other animals may have been found at a particular area. But this is actually direct evidence of what this animal would have been eating. So we know what this animal, this larger apex predator, was actually munching on. This is really important for being able to reconstruct the food webs that would have been present at these ancient ecosystems.
Mark, it sounds fascinating. Thanks so much for explaining it and sharing with us tonight.
No problem. Happy to.
Dozens of measles cases have been reported in our province in recent weeks, and the province has warned any large gathering in the months ahead should be considered a potential exposure site. This has prompted the question, can you still get infected by the virus even if you've received both doses of the vaccine?
Nothing is 100% effective. They don't make you, immortal.
Dr. Sarah Nozel with the American Academy of Family Physicians says it's rare, but about 3 in every 100 people exposed to measles can still catch the virus, even if they're fully vaccinated against the disease. However, she says getting both doses of the vaccine significantly lowers the risk of being infected. And if you do get sick, she says the illness isn't likely to be as severe.
At first, it can look like a cold. You can get a fever and a cough, red eyes, runny nose. But as you get more sick, 1 in 4 individuals, children who get measles, will end up hospitalized.
The province previously said there were 24 hospitalizations due to measles in 2025 and 2026, with 2 patients requiring intensive care. The Canadian Institute for Health Information says pneumonia hospitalizations rose by almost a third across the country last year. The data released today shows kids between 5 and 17 were especially hard hit with pneumonia hospitalizations. They're up by 143% over the previous year. Hospitalizations for seniors 65 years and older are up 22%. The data includes pneumonia hospitalizations between April 1st, 2024 and March 31st, 2025. The report says they exceeded pre-pandemic levels across all age groups. Experts say last year's very bad flu season was likely a major driver of the pneumonia surge, and adds it's too early to tell whether something similar is happening again this year.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
The CTV Spotlight is next. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet is unveiling its newest season.
It's creating a path for the future of the organization.
How the RWB is giving a nod to the past and looking toward the future with its plans.
Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Straight From Me to You, the tribute to George Strait.
A tribute to a legendary Canadian rock band, 2 new initiatives, and a beloved holiday tradition will highlight a new chapter for the Royal Winnipeg Ballet.
Programming is not a list of ballets that we're doing next year. It's sort of a guiding light. It's creating a path for the future of the organization.
New artistic director Christopher Stowell unveiled his first season today. Its main stage series starts with Stravinsky Stories, a double bill set to iconic scores. Nutcracker returns for Christmas, followed by Stowell's interpretation of Swan Lake. The season culminates with The Mix, which includes 5 tangos, a former RWB staple, and a new work honoring the tragically hip. There's also 2 new initiatives, the Studio Series and the Northern Lights Project.
I want this community to get to know our artists more, and I want our dancers in front of audiences more.
The Studio Series will see the ballet collaborate with another local arts group on an intimate performance. This season, it's the U of M's jazz department. The Northern Lights Project will see artists from across Canada develop a new work together in Banff that will then be brought to life by the RWB. Subscriptions are now available with single tickets going on sale this summer. Well, the music returns to Festival du Voyageur tonight, and here is a quick look at what you can expect. There's plenty of artists performing both traditional and contemporary music, and it's all getting started right now during this 6 o'clock hour. And the tunes continue well into the night, with the final acts taking the stage at Festival grounds at around 10 o'clock. That includes funk band Les Remedies and French language rapper Alpha Toshineza. There's also plenty of activities on tap tomorrow to get you in the festival spirit. It all gets started with a pancake breakfast between 8 and 10:30 a.m. over on Dussault Street. Music gets started at 9. Between 5 and 10 p.m. you can head over to the Franco-Manitoban Cultural Centre for the Emerging Métis Talent Night. And the Voyageur Games continue at the Marion Hotel starting at 7. And as always, there are tons of bands playing throughout the evening at Festival grounds. You can keep the party going into the wee hours by heading over to the Riverside on St. Mary's Avenue, where ABBA tribute band Super Trooper will take the stage at midnight. Head on over to heyho.ca for details and tickets. Art and culture collide again this spring over at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. Art in Bloom returns April 17th to 19th. The biannual event sees dozens of amateur and professional florists create their interpretations of artwork with flowers. There's also a special preview party happening April 16th. Tickets are on sale now for that, but entry to the main event is included with regular gallery admission. You can find out more by visiting weg.ca. Your primetime lineup starts with Next Level Chef at 7 and Catch Sullivan's Crossing back-to-back at 8 and 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
A real-life Curious George, why the monkey's special toy is melting hearts around the world.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
little bit of light snow falling in the city, -7 degrees. Winds out of the north-northeast at 21 kilometers an hour gives us a wind chill that makes it feel a bit more like -14. Highest temperature of the day, the air temperature -5. Normal high for this time of year is -7. 1930, the record for this day, +5.6 degrees. Tonight, -11, the low temp. Light snow on again, off again. Temperature basically holding steady Friday. We'll likely see a few flurries along the way. -12, mostly cloudy Saturday, -16 Sunday, and then minus double-digit temperatures well into the middle of next week.
Thanks, Colleen. A 6-month-old monkey is melting hearts after it found comfort in a stuffed orangutan and won thousands of hearts online. Mine included. Look at this guy, Colleen. His name is Punch. He's 6 months old. He's a Japanese monkey that was abandoned by his mother at birth, but zookeepers stepped in and cared for him day and night by hand. Then this plushy orangutan has now become his surrogate mom. It's his safe place.
Yeah.
Punch's story went viral, as you can imagine, with many people cheering him on. Now he's slowly joining the troop of monkeys, but he still clings to his stuffed friend.
Oh, good.
There's pictures of him. Oh, it's so cute.
You can watch that all
If
night.
you had a rough day, go look at that. It'll put you in a good mood. All right, that does it for us tonight. Have a good one. We'll see you back here tomorrow.